Let me show you how to have the best start at No Man's Sky Voyagers. I'm going to show you how to make tons of money and hundreds of thousands of nanites. I'm basically Space Gordon Ramsay. You'll see just how easy it is to turn your first freighter into a nanite making machine. At the very end of this new player beginner's guide for No Man's Sky, I will include my Space Cheddar 1 Corvette build for any traveler who wishes to construct one of their very own. Now, our adventure begins. The vast majority of people play No Man's Sky on normal mode, so that's what I'm gonna do. Once you stop spinning in the circle, the direction you're facing right now is the direction of your crash ship, but don't worry about that. We've got all kinds of work to do. We're, trying not to get killed by the elements right now. When you kind of are spinning around though, look for yellow and red plants, but most importantly, you definitely want to find a cave, and we got lucky right here. Finding a glowing yellow plant on the surface generally means you found sodium, but you can actually turn cave marrow here into sodium as well, so that's why caves are so good. The cave also charged our hazard protection all the way, which is a bag of wind, plus we're finding these relics above ground when they're usually found underground. Once you have your hazard protection sorted, meaning you either found sodium or a cave, you can start mining for ferrite dust as well as carbon. In the upper right hand corner of my screen, you can see my laser heat going up the longer I keep this laser on, but the cool thing is, the longer you keep your laser on, the more damage you do, which means you farm up things a lot faster. Just don't overheat your laser or you will have an annoying cooldown. As soon as you have enough ferrite dust, the very first thing you want to do is get this scanner fixed. The scanner is going to help you find things early game that are vital to your survival, like sodium, oxygen, as well as dihydrogen. The analysis visor will help you scan for minerals and plants that give you a secondary drop. You can also scan animals with it and find points of interest. My hazard protection and oxygen are in a good place right now, so I'm going to scan absolutely everything I possibly can that has a question mark on it. In the future, when we mine up these minerals and plants that we scan, we will be getting the secondary element, and sometimes those elements are really important. Sprint, press your melee attack, then engage your jetpack to fly around like Superman. At this point, I really wish I would have turned some of my carbon into those creature pellets, because that would have really helped me out later in the game. Trying to hide from me behind that rock, that right there is a glowing red plant, which means we found oxygen. Using the scanner will help you find dihydrogen, sodium, and oxygen way easier. So realistically, if you can't find a cave right away, just immediately get a pile of ferrite dust, get the scanner fixed, and you're going to be okay. There are 4 elements that are super important to the early game in No Man's Sky, and that's carbon, ferrite dust, dihydrogen, as well as cobalt, which we'll get later in the cave. Early on, we'll use this dihydrogen here to make life support jellies as well as launch thruster fuel for my banged up ship we find in a little bit. I almost mined this before scanning it, and if I would have done that, I wouldn't have got the secondary drop of dihydrogen. Eventually, your mining laser is going to run out of fuel, and the very best way to recharge that is to use the quick menu option, then select the fuel type. In most cases, you're going to be using carbon. Now we can get back to mining a whole bunch of ferrite dust and carbon, because no matter how much you farm early game, it will simply not be enough, I promise you. I'm starting to mosey back towards the cave when I notice this above ground deposit of cobalt. Now that's kind of rare and will only happen around the cave itself usually. The secondary element on mine is silver, but these spawns can be either gold, platinum, or silver instead of just cobalt. Back in the cave recharging my hazard protection, which ironically I only used about a quarter of it, and while looking there we just found the location of our crashed ship. The other plants you're going to find inside and around caves are these hazardous flora. They're going to give you sodium as well as oxygen. Be careful getting too close to them because they will poison you with a bunch of noxious gas. The scanner and the analysis visor are extremely important tools to the new traveler in No Man's Sky. However, there is a third tool that is equally important. It is called the portable refiner. You'll have to inject the portable refiner with fuel, and by the looks of it, I'm basically out of carbon right now. With the refiner, I'm going to be able to transform the marrow bulb into sodium. I mined up a little bit of cobalt, then headed outside to get some more carbon before I ran out. This type of hazardous flora is going to have what is known as a gassy pod. Pick all those because they're filled up with oxygen. Each plant will have 3 pods, and once you pick them all, just mow them down with your mining laser. That will give you even more oxygen, which is glorious. Generally use this sodium for your hazard protection or your ship shields later down the line. However, I need to get my hands on a bunch of this because after we make it to the space anomaly, I need to make a bunch of nutrient processors. Before we head out, I'm also going to take the opportunity to turn some ferrite dust into pure ferrite because we need that later to repair our ship. I'm also going to use some of my oxygen to build the oxygen recycler, giving me 10% more oxygen in my tanks. That's going to help us out. Try not to waste your sodium on hazard protection. Instead, create these ion batteries that only take some cobalt and ferrite dust, which is really easy to get. You can use oxygen for your O2 tanks, or you can actually create life support jellies. First, you'll need to turn some of your dihydrogen into the jelly, and then you can turn that jelly as well as carbon into a life support gel. Before we get the heck on out of here, I need to pick up my personal refiner. I'm definitely going to be flying around like Superman looking for any question marks that I haven't found yet. Just like the start of pretty much any other survival game you play, No Man's Sky is pretty much no different. You're going to start out with nothing, and you're going to have to farm up everything you think you need as you head to your crashed ship early on in your gameplay. You also want to keep your eyes peeled for these damaged pieces of machinery. They'll give you kind of poop and slime in that original slot when you clear it out, but they'll also give you nanites. Early on, we need absolutely every single nanite we can get our hands on. That slime can also be turned into nanites, but this time, we get an S-Class protection module. That thing's worth 480 nanites when we sell it to a vendor later. That's totally win. I scanned and farmed my way all the way to my crash ship location. Now I did farm some more of the dihydrogen, so I think I'm going to make some more of these life support jellies. 5 of those should do me for several hours of gameplay, but I'm definitely going to make some more of these ion batteries because I use that more than anything. Right next to your crash ship, there will always be a patch of 4 of these oxygen plants, so if you're low, make sure you snag them up. This damaged machinery ended up giving me nanites, which is generally what you end up getting. Now this green crate here is actually pretty cool because that rusted metal can be turned into a bunch of ferrite dust, and you know how much we need ferrite dust. All of the green, red, and yellow crates can give you random items or elements. Without an Atlas pass though, we can't loot any of those cylinder crates. Interacting with the quest icon will expose you to the storyline of No Man's Sky, and that is yours and yours alone to discover, so I won't be ruining it in this guide. 75 rust into 150 ferrite dust. Cha-ching. As soon as you hop into your banged up ship, you're going to be exposed to a little bit more storyline, but ultimately it wants you to fix your pulse engine as well as your launch thrusters. You can end up repairing pretty much everything except for the pulse engine because you need the hermetic seal. We don't know how to make that yet, but the main story quest will send us in the direction of being able to find it a little later. You just have to repair all 3 things that you can fix right now. Hopping in and out of your ship, that's at this point almost all the way repaired, will activate the hermetic seal quest. Interacting with the quest beacon again will give you a chart that will be put into your inventory. Once you activate it and plot the route, it will lead you directly to where you can find the hermetic seal. The moment you even start moving towards that quest location, there's going to be a really bad storm, so make sure you have plenty of hazard protection before you head over there. Always keep your eyes peeled for these memory glyphs. They're going to teach you alien words. Storm was getting pretty psycho, but I made it to the quest location just in time. All you have to do is interact with the Holo Archive to get the hermetic seal. With the hermetic seal in hand, we're able to return to our ship and repair the pulse engine. Going to grab my dust really fast, then start the long convoluted process of turning this goop into nanites. First you'll turn the goop into fluids, and then from there you'll turn the fluids into living slime. Living slime turns into runaway mold, and then you can finally turn what living mold you have into nanites. Let's make a few more nanites. You can do this by hitting up your Discoveries tab. We're actually going to be uploading all the plants, minerals, and animals that we ended up scanning on this planet. You're not going to make a pile of nanites doing this. You're going to make 3 per upload on the plants and minerals, and when you do upload any life forms, you'll get 5 nanites each. And scanning all the animals would have given us an additional 1,750 bonus nanites, which would have been super awesome. Unfortunately, we didn't find them all, and it is definitely time to get the heck on out of here. As soon as you take off, you want to make a 90-degree up angle and fly directly into space. And when you get up there, the Awakenings quest is going to start taking over. The beginning of the Awakenings quest is going to kind of teach you how to fly, which is really handy when you're a brand new player to No Man's Sky. Out of nowhere, you're going to receive a message. It's going to send you to the signal source. I generally like to fly in cockpit view, but if you want to get into third person, use the quit menu, hit the gear icon, and then select your ship. I'm going to hop back into first person view because I really do like having the radar, and it is easier to scan planets in this view. While I'm up here, I might as well scan the rest of the planets and moons that are in this system, and since we are going to be building our very first base here, might as well knock all these scans out so I know what I'm working with. When you approach the signal source location, it's only going to give you basically an approximate location. What you're looking for is one of those damaged machineries that are really close by, because if you land back there, your fat cells are going to be pissed off because you're going to have to run all the way here. You'll be given some more storyline, and then you're also going to unlock the base computer as well as the terrain manipulator. Just like the scanner, analyzer, and portable refiner, this terrain manipulator here is game transforming. There's elements you can't mine without it, plus you can dig underground. The second planet or moon you go to is where I generally build my base, so I'm going to be scanning everything again. We also need to locate a copper deposit so I can turn that copper into chromatic metal, that way we can make our base computer. You can salvage the rocket launcher for the chromatic metal if you want to do that. Just before you mine, you can change the terrain manipulator bubble to be really big or really small. You want to use the smallest bubble possible. You will end up getting way more resources if you use the smaller bubble. The trade-off is it just takes longer to mine it up. Seriously, travelers, I almost couldn't ask for a better first base location on a planet, because during the day, I don't even use my hazard protection, and at night it barely gets chilly. There's also salvage containers here. There's no sentinel presence at all. We are fixing to get hooked up with so many Corvette pieces. Once you dig up the container, just use your mining laser to burn off the protective casings. You'll usually get Corvette pieces from them as well. It's just this container has a chance to be the total and complete hookup. The more protective casings you have surrounding that container generally indicates really super good loot. This one was just run-of-the-mill. I'm out scanning in my ship looking for a location to plop down the base computer when I actually stumble across something that's really super awesome. This right here is an abandoned building, and inside of that is a terminal that'll give us a bunch of nanites. Surrounding the entire building is a bunch of eggs. They're also worth a bunch of nanites. Basically, I can't help myself. I'm greedy, so I have to stop here and hook it up. If you want to be 100% safe, you can build like a sloped little cave so those eggs will roll down to you when you pop them open. There's also some salvage data underneath this building. We're going to need that later. Back in the day, as soon as you pop open that egg sack, a bunch of aliens come out of the ground, and they really hated your guts back then. As of now, they only seem dangerous when they first pop out of the ground, so I'm just going to pop open all these egg sacks and just run around and get them as quickly as I can. Inside the building, there's going to be a haunted terminal. You will have to clear out all the goop, either delete it or put it in your backpack, and when you get done interacting with it, you're going to get a bunch of nanites. There will be a damaged machinery here as well, but more importantly, turning those larval cores into nanites, they are worth a pile. Oh yeah, 1,644 nanites. Alright, hear me out. I was just about to take off and go look for a place to build my base, but then I found this salvage container really close by, so I had to hook it up. No Man's Sky was literally holding my arm behind my back. I finally stopped getting sidetracked. Instead, we're now looking for buried technology modules. We need the salvage data in order to unlock base parts. Use your analysis visor to look for those shield shapes named buried technology module. You can get up to 4 data per dig. You're not going to believe this. We're out looking for our base location again, and I stumble across another abandoned building. Oh yeah! We're fixing to be hooked up fat again. I am most definitely not going to waste my time building a bunch of underground caves again. We're just going to pop open all the egg sacs and then collect all the larval cores as quickly as we can. Larval cores are worth a half-decent amount of units, however, it is always going to be better for you to turn those into nanites. We made a bunch really fast. Plus the nanites we got from the terminal and damaged machinery. When dealing with large stacks of materials, you can either use the change stack size or the quick split. I'm going to go with quick split because I don't want to turn all my copper into chromatic metal. This entire time I've been looking for either a trading post, a miner settlement, or this gigantic antenna sticking up out of the ground. Finding this antenna only serves one purpose within No Man's Sky, and that is to give you the coordinates so you can actually find a miner settlement. Miner settlements are so good when you're first starting out in the game because there's a terminal here to buy and sell, plus there's upgrades we need. Inside every miner settlement there will be a multi-tool cabinet, and sometimes they're totally awesome and sometimes they totally suck, just like this one here. There's always a nanites machine to mooch up as well. I'm going to take the opportunity to buy and sell really quick, plus buy some of these microprocessors. We actually need 5 of those to install our warp drive. Hit up the alien in the back, ask to purchase blueprints. One of the most important ones you're going to want to grab is the advanced mining laser. You also want to grab the waveform recycler as well as the shield lattice. If you have enough nanites left over, get the teleport receiver. You can also buy components, which are generally jacked up in price a little bit more than other terminals, but yeah, if you need them, they're going to be here. Getting the waveform recycler installed is really going to help us on our scan radius as well as our recharge time. The advanced mining laser is going to give us the ability to mine other elements that we haven't been able to at this point, as well as give us a boost to our mining speed. I'll install the lattice later. That'll give us a boost to our hazard protection, but for now I need to plop this base computer down and then see if there's any other bases in the area. There's nobody nearby, so our base computer gave us a set of wooden blueprints in order to create our very first base. I'm going to start out building a basic 3x3 box that I'll expand on later. The thing is, the second we start building, there's going to be a brutal storm that comes in. Realistically, you should have plenty of ion batteries on hand at this point, so yeah, you're going to be good to go. Eventually, I want to grow some plants up on a second level, so we might as well make this 2 stories high and then slap a roof on it. We are now completely safe from the elements. Interact with your base computer again to get the construction research unit. You can turn pure ferrite into magnetized ferrite so you can build the unit. Now let's see which type of buildable technologies we need to purchase with our salvage data. You want to buy everything except for the health and hazard station, because I will be using absolutely everything else in this best start, and unfortunately I didn't get enough of the data to get the freaking solar panels. Turn sodium into nitrate so you can place a beacon. Before you do any building, it's always a good idea to create a restore point. I don't have enough for solar panels, so I'm just going to toss down the teleporter, the biofuel reactor, as well as 1 battery. You already know you get nanites from damaged machinery, but underneath every single one of those will be a buried technology module. We now have the solar panel blueprint. I've definitely been guilty of mining up Corvette pieces off camera, but we need to get rid of these blue drops here. They're not Corvette pieces, they're just straight units. Some of those Corvette pieces will be worth a lot, but we're going to hold on to every single one we find. I'm going to rename my base to Noob1, then get it uploaded to the interwebs so everyone and their mom can vote my base as the very best base ever in No Man's Sky. Going to plop a solar panel down, then get my wiring tool and click on the back connection there. Now we have to run inside. I don't like a lot of messy wires all over the place, so I'm going to take this wire here and just pin it to the top of the wall. Ironically, I guess I could have done all this through the ceiling. We can build off that wire by clicking on it again. I'm going to be running it across the floor really nice and tight, and then just plug it right into the battery. I'll wire the battery into the biofuel reactor, and then from the reactor into the teleporter. The circuit's complete, but of course it's nighttime. We're not going to get any power that way. We need to fuel the biofuel reactor. It'll take carbon, condensed carbon, or oxygen. You're best off in just putting a little bit of carbon in there, because that's all you're going to need. After you have powered up your teleporter, the next part of the main story quest is going to want to send you over to a space station. Seriously, like, I play No Man's Sky in binges. I play the heck out of it, then I take a break, and every single time I come back, the freaking space stations look like way cooler every single time. The Awakenings quest wants you to talk to 3 different aliens about a mysterious signal. Do not talk to any of the aliens that are in the booths, just talk to the ones that are walking around. Once you're good to go, find the exosuit upgrade location and then just interact with that. You have the opportunity to upgrade either a cargo or a technology slot. I'm going to go with cargo. I'm going to check the alien for upgrades, and it looks like he has a movement module. That's nice. Unfortunately, this multi-tool also sucks. The multi-tool on the other side, however, is a bag of win. It's a rifle with all the slots and A-class with 3 supercharges. I'm probably going to be buying this later unless I find something better. When you're exploring space stations, always be on the lookout to make some loot, because you can actually find loot here as well. I was literally just about ready to leave, and then I realized, oh yeah, I need to sell that module I found earlier. The Awakenings quest wants us to head back to our base and talk to the base computer. It's going to be way faster to just actually use the teleporter instead of flying all the way back down. You'll be sent to go find a crash freighter. Yeah, don't worry, it's really hard to miss. This is where you're going to get your hyperdrive blueprint, and unfortunately I was just on the space station and totally forgot to buy those 2 other microprocessors, so now I got to go get that sorted. I'm also going to start the process of upgrading the teleport receiver too. I mean, since we're here and we didn't get dressed up for nothing, we might as well just look at some of these cargo pods. Now, don't expect to become Daddy Warbucks from farming these cargo pods. I mean, the very best loot you're going to get from it is an expansion slot. That's kind of what I'm looking for. You'll get all kinds of that goop and slime that you can turn into nanites. Just make sure the second you loot that, you break your neck to get away or you will get bucked down. I ended up getting 20 nanites on that last one. We get a warp cell this time. That's actually pretty handy. Not all these cargo pods are going to be buried under the ground. Sometimes they'll be inside the actual crash freighter themselves. And wow, we just found the actual thing I'm looking for, the multi-tool expansion slot. Oh yeah. Traveler, generally I'm always prepared. I mean, at this point I'm a seasoned, grizzled veteran of No Man's Sky. I should have known better. I could have got those 2 microprocessors early so we could upgrade our hyperdrive. It is what it is. I'll just get these wiring looms, then we can upgrade our teleport receiver on the next step. You'll need to tune your ship scanner in order to find the antimatter, then you'll be sent on a little mission to find the antimatter trace. And guess what? You're never going to guess where it's going to send us. Dun 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 dun. We found a bunch of nanites. Traveler, when you're doing this part of the Awakenings quest, you're not going to be getting any nanites from that haunted terminal. Instead, you're actually going to get the antimatter formula. Back in the day, those aliens used to beat you to death if you were on the surface. Now they just don't even care. It's kind of too easy. I turned all the cores as well as all the slime into nanites. We are now up to 4,759. It's time for our very first warp. Let's open up the galaxy map and check out where we're fixing to go. We're currently in a Viking system, which means I want to find either a Corvette or a Gek. This Gek looks perfect, so I'm going to go there. When you arrive in system, you'll be looking for the fuel source. Do yourself a favor, look for the alien monolith-looking building so you can stay fat. There will also be 3 glyphs here. Each one of them will teach you a different alien word. Interacting with the alien structure will end up giving you a free warp cell. Every time you warp into a new system, you have the opportunity to hit up the space station and then upgrade another exosuit slot. This time I'm going to go with technology. Checking the multi-tool vendor for upgrades, and right there, Traveler, we hit the freaking jackpot with that S-Class scanner module. Most definitely going to buy that right now. Every single one of these S-Class modules are kind of set in stone as to what type of upgrade they're going to give you, but the very first scanner upgrade you get, that one is super duper good for pretty much everything but mostly fauna, and that's what we're after. Moving it here will give us a better bonus. I want to be able to buy another one of those modules, so I have to hop in and out of my ship, then head over to the options menu, then click on my restore point. We're going to reload that. That will refresh all of the vendor's inventory and I can buy it again. Unfortunately, the second upgrade's a waste of nanites. It doesn't have any fauna bonus on it, so we're going to destroy that, reload our save again, buy another one. The third one does have a fauna bonus, but it's not great. We're going to keep it for now. The third system I'll be warping to is a Corvette system. We'll be hitting up the space station, and I will be upgrading another exosuit slot, this time a cargo. Finding that multi-tool expansion slot's coming in clutch right now. I get to upgrade that extra slot right there, then I can get a third S-Class scanner. That's going to help us make piles of money. Whenever you go to any space station, make sure you keep your eyes peeled for these weird-looking aliens. You want to ask them 2 questions. The second question you ask them will give you their grave location. When you get there, interact with them. I keep kind of avoiding what they're saying because they do expose you to some storyline, but once you do interact with them, you'll end up getting a glyph. If you get all 16, you can go anywhere. Let's head back to that Gek system. I want to buy another one of those S-Class scanner modules. Now, I know the 4th upgrade does have fauna on it, although it's only like 6,000 something. It's not great. I'm under 500,000 units at this point, so I need a little bit of spreading around money. I'm going to put these S-Class scanning modules right to work. I just kind of want to see how much more they're going to give us, because before we were only getting 200 to scan. You might actually think I'm getting kind of hooked up fat here as a noob, but later down the line when I become Space Gordon Ramsay, we're making upwards of 25 million per scan when we scan animals, and that's kind of a bit crazy, but we're going to go with it. My inner greed compelled me to scan 2 more planets just like I did on that first one, and we end up with 6 million units. I generally change my appearance at the very first space station that I go to. I've just been so wrapped up into the main storyline, pounding it out as quick as possible. I haven't had a chance to don the Viking robes, and there we go. That looks basically like Hawks Gaming right there. Yeah. My fat cells right now most definitely hate my guts because I could not find the location. I had to use my analysis visor to find the crashed ship. Plus, is it just me, or does this planet seem like it's on acid? Like, I can't even tell at this point. It looks like it's like a really dense gas atmosphere or something like that. This pulse splitter here, best weapon in the multi-tool. The ship we found at our crash location is a fighter. Unfortunately, it's a C-class, meaning here in just a little while when we scrap it, it's not going to be worth a whole heck of a lot. Realistically, you do not have to repair this ship if you don't want to. You can fly the old one up to the space station and then just scrap this one, but if you do repair anything, only repair the pulse engine and launch thruster, that's it. A mysterious alien named Nada is going to contact you. He's also going to fly in a gigantic space ball named the Anomaly. We'll head to the Anomaly in just a little bit. First, I want to head over to the space station, then we're going to hit up the Starship outfitting terminal. We want to get this thing scrapped for a little bit of extra cheddar. It looks like we're going to be able to make about 1.2 million off this, which isn't too bad, but more importantly, we're going to get a whole bunch of these modules to sell for nanites. Sadly, these are C-class modules, so they're not going to be worth all that much. I'll get these ship scraps pawned off for a little more money. Now we can head over to the space anomaly where I plan to let a bunch of my nanites burn a hole in my pocket. Unfortunately, I didn't farm any salvage data. Technically, I probably should have talked to Nada first, but since I was running up this ramp anyway, I decided to talk to Helios and get me a few extra nanites. Ares will hook you up fat with a bunch of nanites based off of your milestone data, and why, looky there, we got a ton. Talk to Nada, he'll send you on a little quest teaching you how to use the space anomaly. When you're done with that, hit up Celine. We're going to buy a bunch of technology. Get the nutrient ingester. I earn over 4 billion units with this, it's crazy. We will need to get the hazmat gloves as well as the personal refiner, and since the other one's better, we're going to buy the personal refiner Mark II. Last but not least, grab the neural stimulator. With all that sorted, we can now do an exosuit upgrade. I'm going to go with cargo once again. Hit up Hyperion, he sells starship upgrades. For now, I'm just going to be getting the economy scanner. We'll get other stuff later. When you're done wasting all your nanites, head over to the big teleporter. Now, you can go to pretty much any one of these bases you want, but we're just going to hit up Noob 1 and get back to doing what we need to do. Traveler, I recommend that you just ham out the base computer archives quest as quick as you can. You can just do it back to back to back to back. It gives you a whole bunch of useful technology. I just unlocked the storage container, which is absolutely huge for us early game because we barely have any room to store anything, really. All I need to do is get everything wired up because it does take power. Now we can finally use our storage container. Cha-ching. Sadly, I don't even know that there is actual Corvette storage for these parts on space station, so I stuff it in my container. First, let's get that neural stimulator installed. That is really going to help us when we're out there running around in the world. Let's also put the jetpack upgrades together so we get an even bigger bonus. I tried to install the hazmat gauntlet, but unfortunately I don't have enough materials. The same exact thing goes for the refiner Mark II, so we're just going to get them set in there. I need a boat ton of the salvage data here, so I'm just kind of running around my base looking for it when I stumble across one of these drop pods. What's cool is the miner settlement by our base actually sells these drop pod charts, so we're going to be able to hook it up fat later if we feel like it and completely max out all of our technology and our cargo slots. It is now time to spend some of our salvage data at the space anomaly. Just like the space station, you have the opportunity to upgrade an exosuit slot here, but you can only do it once per system visit. Next, hit up the construction research station, hit the technology modules tab, and then buy the medium refiner. Snag up the large refiner as well as the nutrient processor. You'll also want to grab the automated feeder as well as the livestock unit. The only reason I'm going to get the Romer Geobay is because I have 4 salvage data left. It's just about time for us to turn into Space Gordon Ramsay. I've got the basics in: 2 large refineries, 2 medium refineries, and 3 nutrient processors. I won't be able to place the livestock unit quite yet. We do have to complete quite a bit of our base quest in order to get that sorted, but we can place the automatic feeder for now. Now, this automatic feeder isn't going to automatically feed a darn thing unless you hook it up to power, so let's get our wiring tool out and just connect a nice wire low to the ground and get it plugged in. I didn't realize this at this point in time, but you can create these creature pellets on the nutrient processor for way less carbon. Now I can stick those creature pellets into the automated feeder, which will attract animals to the area. Now I'm just going to mine carbon while I wait, and oh my god, I am now swamped with animals. The automated feeder is going to keep them full and in the area as long as you stay near your base location, and now I can just come and gather all the milk that I'm ever going to need by hand. Once we get the livestock unit placed though, all the harvesting is going to be automated. I need to make a bunch of processed sugar, and the best way to do that is to farm cactus flesh with a hazmat gauntlet on a desert planet. If you place cactus flesh in the nutrient processor, it will turn the flesh into cactus nectar. You can then change that nectar into processed sugar, which is exactly what we need. While I'm at it, I might as well turn all the fresh milk I have on hand right now into cream. We're going to need that too. I need a bunch of refined flour as well, and you can get it by refining this wheat here that you can find out in the world, although there's a way better way to make the refined flour. I'll show you that later. We're pretty much done at this point finishing up the processed sugar. Now I'm going to get that stuffed into the ingredient storage, which is really nice. Oh yeah, that's a ridiculous amount of sugar right there. It totally dwarfs my cream and my flour. I was just about to start hamming out a quest, and this is that exact moment when I find out, wow, you can actually store all the Corvette pieces you want on space stations. Yeah. I want to get that livestock unit as soon as I can, so we're going to have to start pounding out Alone Amidst the Stars. You'll need to use the signal booster, and it takes 3 scans to complete the quest. Our next step towards personal glory is to start the Ghosts in the Machines quest, where you get to meet a fella named Apollo. After you talk, head back to your base. You'll now have the ability to make the construction terminal. Make sure you build that terminal first, then head over to any Gek system. You should have at least one on your list. Then look for the little dude named Work Gek. That's going to be your overseer. Hire him, then head back to your base. He's going to be waiting there for you. The very first thing he's going to want you to do is create a science terminal. This is where we can hire a scientist. Build the science terminal. As soon as you do that, head over to the Korvax system on your list, then talk to any of the random Korvax that are walking around until eventually you find one that'll let you hire him as your scientist. As soon as you talk to him again at your base location, he's going to give you the blueprint for acid and lubricant. Back to being Space Gordon Ramsay, we're going to take this frost crystal here and turn it into glass grains. You can farm frost crystal with your hazmat gauntlet on frozen worlds. The grains will turn into the flour, and all you have to do is add the sugar to it to make sugar dough. Sugar dough by itself will create a simple biscuit, but if you add cream in there as well, you'll make some cream fingers that are worth over 200k each. I mean, 10 million units isn't super horrible newbie traveler money, but the next thing we're going to be making is way better. Starting out, you can use any egg or a larval core plus processed sugar to make delicate meringue. For now, I'm just going to stuff that delicate meringue into the food storage right next to my cream. That moment when I freaking realize I can make creature pellets for a 1-to-1 ratio instead of 12 carbon for 1 pellet. Pound out your scientist quest until you get to the point where you unlock polyfiber. Now it's all coming together. There's 2 main ingredients we need at this point. The first one is going to be sticky honey, and they can be easily found off little hopping worms or gigantic looking pineapples. The next ingredient we need is any type of egg, and this 2-legged creature right here will always drop tall eggs. If you want to be super lazy, use your economy scanner to locate a trading post, and you can buy any of the plant fibers you need for cooking. It's time to kick it up a notch. We're going to take our Space Gordon Ramsay to the next level. We need to make fluffy batter. That's going to take the refined flour, delicate meringue, as well as any egg. We're just about done, traveler. We just have to mix our extra fluffy batter with this cream here to make an extra fluffy cream cake, which is freaking totally and completely glorious. If we ended up selling this extra fluffy cream cake to a vendor, we'd only make about 23k, and that's basically like shooting ourselves in the foot, really. However, if we get this nutrient ingester installed and we use it in there, each cake is worth about 250 million. So I have 3 S-Class scanning modules. They're going to add that all together, then multiply the score by 6,422. We are fixing to be rich. Generally, when I do this, I only like to put 1 cake inside there because 1 cake is worth about 10 minutes worth of scanning time. And like I said earlier, 10 minutes worth of scanning time is about 250 million. The master plan is to scan all the planets and moons that I have not scanned yet and make as much money as I possibly can before we head to our 4th system. The amount of money you're going to make is going to be due to all the S-Class upgrades that you had, coupled with the cake plus the rarity of the animal that you're scanning. And quick tip, if you're looking for eggs, anything that looks like basically a dinosaur will give you eggs. Well, the bummer deal is I only have one planet that I can scan in this system, and we're already up to 78 million. Traveler, I'll be hitting up the other 2 systems on my list. I'll be scanning up all the fun I possibly can. I ended up using 3 cakes and we're at 533 million. I decided to use my economy scanner to locate a trading post. I just made a whole bunch of units, so we might as well spend some of those buying an S-Class ship. Well, literally 2 minutes later, an S-Class shuttle landed. Unfortunately, it is kind of ugly, but at least it is an S-Class ship. I was hoping for a hauler, but this shuttle should have plenty of space. Let's negotiate with this little guy here and leave him stranded on this planet. Now, it shouldn't be all that much. Yeah, it's only 12 million. That's actually not too bad, and since we have 500 million, might as well spend our money. Alright, so we're faced with 2 choices. You can either dismantle everything or store the technology. Yeah, Hawks is a complete and total gigantic smooth brain, because I could have stored the technology on pretty much everything except for the rocket launcher and then just instantly installed it on my new ship, but no, I'm dumb. Look at that ship. Look at that ship. It's not amazing. It's actually kind of ugly, but at least it's mine. We didn't fly in with the pillar, so you're going to have to open up your quick menu, then summon vehicles, and then select the ship you want to scrap. In our case, it's going to be our little newbie ship that served us so well for so long. Gonna pawn off these modules here for some more nanites. That gets us over 12k, and this is just after the moment I realized, you know what? I could have stored all that technology. Now I'm feeling really stupid. Every time you buy a new ship, they never have gas in the tank, so I needed to make some warp cells. Now let's head over to the space anomaly. I have some more salvage data that needs to burn a hole in my pocket. Unfortunately, we don't have enough. I'm at the construction research station. You want to hit up the agriculturals modules, and then you're going to buy the hydroponic tray as well as the big, gigantic, large hydroponic tray. When it comes to the plants that you want to unlock, make sure you unlock every single one on the top row. For the second row, the really super important ones are going to be gut rot as well as mordite. Definitely get those 2, but eventually get the rest of the other ones on the bottom row as well. Out grabbing more data, but see what I mean? Animals that look like dinosaurs, not evolved mammals, those are the ones that give you eggs. Come to me, my precious. Now we can go back up to the space anomaly. I ended up with 60 salvage data, so, might as well just buy all the rest of the plants that we need. I'm going to purchase the galactic terminal just so I don't have to walk the 37 steps it takes for me to sell my stuff. My inner Tony Stark tells me that I need to buy the Minotaur Geobay just in case I want to be Robo Dude. I need to hit up EOS again because last time I didn't buy the optical drill, and that's going to take our nanite farming to the absolute next level. Traveler, I should have hit up the synthesis laboratory a long time ago because all these components that I've been having to purchase from little ship guys and terminals, well, I could have made them myself. I plan to buy everything here except for the Warp Hypercore and the Atlas Volume 3 pass. I mean, I guess I could have got the Hypercore, but, it is what it is. At this point, I've only been to 3 systems, and we've accomplished quite a bit, although I have not found a super godly multi-tool quite yet. So what I'm going to do for now is just head back to my original system and snag up that really nice A-class rifle that has 3 supercharged slots in it for 4.6 million. This is a super duper good deal. This time I'm definitely not going to be a super duper space moron. I'm actually going to store all the technology and put all these S-class upgrades into my new multi-tool. To change your multi-tool, you need to hit up utilities and then swap multi-tool. You just have to pick which one is the right one you want. I ended up buying another one of the S-Class scanning modules that did turn out to have fauna, although it wasn't super awesome. It was only at about 6.9k. Now, well, that was a waste of nanites. Might as well just stuff that in our exosuit backpack. Now, what I want to do at this point is move these scanner modules around until I have my very, very best scanning modules for fauna on the supercharged slots. Just make sure when you install your optical drill that you install that into a supercharged slot because that's going to take it from a plus 50 yield all the way to a plus 88. That is ridiculous. I am definitely feeling awesome sauce about that multi-tool purchase and the upgrades I got installed on her when I stumbled across this A-class hauler that's only 112 million. It really is cool saying only 112 million. I think I only paid a little over 12 million and we're gonna get about 8.8 back, but what I really want more is to actually have some really cool S-Class upgrades that I can put on my ship, and it looks like we got at least 2 of them. Oh my god, okay, so we ended up getting 3 storage augmentations. That is totally a bag of wind. Our new hauler already has 48 slots, so adding these 3 augmentations will bump us up to 51. I mean, it's not a lot, but I'm gonna take it. Yeah, not exactly sure what's going on here. The math isn't mathing right. I ended up with 60 slots instead of 51. Guess I'll take that instead. At least this time, as I installed my technology, I did remember to pack the old technology from the ship and get it installed on this one. I just set up some new farms in the base, but oh yeah, we need a bunch more power, and I also needed to install a whole bunch of extra batteries as well. My frost crystal farm is upstairs. This just caters to my inner laziness. The automatic feeder's doing an amazing job at attracting and keeping the animals fed. This livestock feeder here I just fired up. 10 minutes later, look at all the milk we got. Generally, finding milk is easy, but you know, sometimes you run into the problem of finding the dinosaur type mobs that drop eggs, so maybe you're just going to make cream fingers as soon as you get out of the space anomaly. Now, earlier I had said that these cream fingers are worth 200k each, but they're only worth 105k each, you know, only. All my nutrient processors are basically converting frost crystals into refined flour, so I just took the time to set up a cactus farm. Even though I am on a desert planet, this just makes my inner laziness smile at me. Man, oh man, did I expand on the amount of nutrient processors I have. I'm just about to finish up making the last of the cream fingers, and ironically I end up with just a little bit over 11 stacks. Oh yeah, that's just a tiny bit freaking ridiculous right there. Traveler, that livestock unit came in totally and completely clutch, because I could not possibly imagine what it would be like to actually stand out there and milk over 1,000 animals by hand. That is definitely not happening. We have multiple ways to make money with scanning being king, however our nanite situation sucks. Time to get that sorted. With an economy scanner installed, I can tell which systems are the most wealthy, so we're only going to be going to those. So Hawks, why only go to wealthy systems? Well, it's quite simple, my dear Watson. Whenever I want to buy commodities, they are going to be selling them in far larger stacks. What I'm looking for is a 3-star gold return called a curious deposit. We do not want to see venom sac or metal fingers because only one of those types can spawn per planet. Our main goal is to finally find that curious deposit, but while I'm at it, we might as well make some space treasure here, and definitely liking my new upgrades. I'm on my second planet now. We didn't find the curious deposit on my first one. It looks like we're not going to be finding it here either, so we might as well just get our scan on and make some more units. Oh well, that entire system was a bust. Didn't find curious deposits, made a whole bunch of money. Let's head over to this new wealthy system. I always seem to waste my last cake, but we're up to 810 million now. I stopped off at the anomaly and the space station to upgrade my exosuit slots before coming here, so wish me luck. Hopefully we can find some curious deposits. Long story short, didn't find it here at my first landing location, so I'm just going to charge up another cake and start scanning away for all the space cheddar. Oh yeah, super duper happy we didn't find any curious deposits here, although it would still kind of be wind. There is just a constant extreme storm going on, making this place brutal. Activated copper means this is another extreme planet. I hope it doesn't suck as bad as the last one. It is definitely chilly outside, but at least there isn't an extreme storm going on right now, so hopefully this place pans out, we get a whole bunch of scans in, and we find some curious deposits. Seriously, I can tell this place is going to be really good for sticky honey. There's those hopping worms all over the place, and those gigantic pineapples. Now all we need to do is find some curious deposits, which ironically are right there behind me. If it had been a snake, it would have bit me. Quickly placed my base computer down just before I'm about to freaking fall over from the elements. An extreme storm rolled in, and man oh man, is this place brutal. Even worse than the other planet I was talking about. Just to make things a little easier so I don't freaking fall over or have to jump into my ship all the time, I built a little base to help me build my base. Yeah, I know it sounds stupid, but I had to do it. I ended up getting to 1.1 billion scanning all those fauna, trying to find this base location, and I ultimately just surrounded all the curious deposits with the base. Before I get my Space Gordon Ramsay on, I just want to check how much runaway mold I'm going to get for farming this entire plot of curious deposits. The cake is going to make this way better because we only ended up with 12,600 runaway mold. Just like when you're buying S-Class modules from a vendor, if you want to refresh the spawn here, all you have to do is create a save and then reload your restore point. You know, since I refreshed them, I might as well test a second time for posterity to see if there's any differences in how much mold I'm getting. Chances are it's about the same. Yeah, it looks pretty much the same. I don't need a lot of sticky honey, but, you know, I kind of need a lot of sticky honey. Not really a lot, but kind of need a lot of it. Just kidding, I probably only need like 40 or so. I mean, even that's kind of stretching it, but there is no way I'm going to be out here doing this by hand for the rest of my life, so I spent even more time making more solar panels and extra batteries just so I could place a livestock unit and an automated feeder. Making this cake is a little bit different. We're not going to be saving the cream, we're going to be using that cream and turning it into churned butter. If you mix processed sugar with the churned butter, you'll actually create sweetened butter, which is one of the main ingredients that we need. You take the sweetened butter, add refined flour, and any type of an egg, that will create cake batter. To make the questionably sweet cake, all you have to do is mix cake batter with one of those sticky honeys, and there you go. That right there is what's going to earn us a pile of freaking nanites. Traveler, you don't have to be totally and completely psycho like me and make 40 of these questionably sweet cakes, because if I actually spent the time to use them all, it would be several billion nanites. We're already getting a plus 88% from our optical laser in the supercharged slot. This is going to give us plus 64% more. Weather sucks outside like it always does. Let's get a cake plopped in there and test to see how much more runaway mold we're going to get this time while stuffing our face with a questionably sweet cake. I seem to be pulling in some gigantic numbers here. Let's check, and wow, that's more than 3 times as much. I did set up some refiners here, but realistically, Traveler, I only have 5 of them, and that's small potatoes compared to what I'm going to be doing here in a little while. Right now I'm just stocking up on runaway mold, actually build some more bank storage units just so I can keep stuffing them completely and totally full. I'm not going to put any in my main storage box, but all 3 of these storages here are packed solid, and I still have 30k on me. Started with 550 nanites, and just trying to farm up those 3 boxes worth of the runaway mold, I end up farming over 23k nanites. You know, that's pretty good. With all these freshly farmed nanites, I pimped out all of my life support as well as my jetpacks with S-Class modules. I also upgraded my warp drive, shields, and positron ejector. We're now ready for our first freighter encounter. That's going to happen after your 5th jump and you've been playing for at least 4 hours. You'll know every single time you trigger the event, Traveler. Don't worry, because a whole bunch of space scumbags will just start flying in front of you, hoping that you buck them down. To say that my hauler with positron injectors installed with full S-Class upgrades is overpowered, that would be an understatement. Just keep laying the space smack upon these bad guys until you killed all 5 of them. Eventually an alien's gonna contact you. He's like, bro, thanks a lot for saving my life. How would you like to come inside and get a space mustache ride? Just kidding, he doesn't really want to do that. He just wants to see if you want this freighter for free. Scanning the deck reveals that this is indeed a space mustache ride freighter. Realistically, Traveler, it doesn't matter what class your first freighter is, just make sure you snag it. We are about to take refining nanites to an entirely new level. First, I need to remove this table, then I'm going to build a whole bunch of refiner rooms, and I mean a whole bunch of them. I'm going to build as many as I can until I run out of resources. Which ironically was only 4 rooms, so I'm going to turn this mango gold here that I just bought into actual gold. It's going to be way easier. I also need to stock up on dihydrogen jelly as well as any silver I can find. While I'm looking for the gold, silver, and dihydrogen jelly, I'm also buying all the elements I possibly can off all the little ship guides that I can find, because mining is a thing of the past for us. There we go, I just hit the jackpot. This dirty bronze here can actually be transformed into silver. I'm going to have more silver than I can ever possibly need. If you ever need to get carbon, ferrite dust, oxygen, or sodium, do it in your ship like this, because it is totally ridiculous as long as you have the positron ejector. 50 of my 100 refiner rooms have been built. I also got all my glorious storage units in place, and yep, they're still full of runaway mold. Before I convert all that runaway mold, we might as well throw down a galactic trade room too. I have just under 154 stacks of runaway mold to get processed into nanites, so this is definitely going to take a couple rounds of processing. Time to do some collecting before we load them back up again. You will always get 1,999 nanites per stack of runaway mold. Each cycle we're going to be making just under 100,000 nanites. Finished the second round, the third round is processing now, and I only have a little bit left, but I ended up getting 325,000 nanites off that runaway mold. Back on the original planet that I started on, and I stumbled across this really cool creature which drops a different type of nectar. My master plan is to spend the next 45 minutes to an hour farming Corvette pieces from these salvage containers. Hopefully I find enough Corvette pieces to make some kind of Frankenstein's child version of Space Cheddar 1, because I have never built a ship in No Man's Sky yet. After 2 trips, this is the amount of Corvette pieces I ended up farming. Wish me luck, because I have purposefully not watched any videos on constructing Corvettes. Now it seems like you can actually buy Corvette pieces with units, but I think I'm just going to try to build my ship with all the parts that I farm myself. Let the clown shoes begin. It is now time for Hawks Gaming to build his very first Corvette. You're going to think I'm actually a pro, because due to video editing, you're not going to see me spend literally an hour and 15 minutes trying to build this thing. I mean, I guess you're supposed to start with a landing gear and really don't know where to place these, so chances are they're going to change in positions once the ship is finally built. There's also kind of a warning system going on similar to Starfield, that your ship is a pile of junk and won't fly, so maybe that's going to help me too. That certainly isn't going to help me figure out what the heck I'm doing with these landing gear for now, so I guess I'll move them here. I'm out of the Thunderbird and now I have to use this Ambassador Hab. Well, they don't die the same, it pisses me off later. As a first-time builder of a Corvette, I can say that the learning curve actually wasn't super horrible, but what you mostly do to learn things is just throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks. You'll constantly be swapping parts around or trying out a new piece in a different location to see if it makes your ship look cooler, because quite frankly, it is always about making your ship look as cool as possible. At this point, I'm starting to gain a little confidence at building, and I'm kind of like paying attention to the warning messages, so I have to get all that stuff sorted. I'm like, dude, why didn't I just build this thing right in the beginning of the game? Sure, I wouldn't have had the nanites to upgrade it all the way to an S-class like in a blink of an eye as soon as I got done building, but you know, it still would have been really neat and a definite different experience to the game itself as I was progressing. Like case in point, I could, build some refineries inside the ship that I'm building right now, or even some flower pots to house the flowers I need to make the freaking cakes. I mean, it would have been really, really cool. That's the thing though, I let my fear of the unknown take over. I mean, I've been playing this game for years, but I have never built a Corvette before, and I was too stubborn to look up how to do it because I didn't want to ruin my experience. Now, if I had to do it all over again, I would have most definitely spent that hour or two just farming parts early game, like they were on the original starting planet that I was on, then just build my first Corvette, because my entire gaming experience as I progressed would have been completely different, and I think in some aspects it would have made it even easier. I only got to find out at the end of the video just how game transforming a Corvette really is. Alright, well, looks like one of the parts I want is cool, and I only have one of them and I need 2, so I guess I'm going to try to either purchase or trade for it. Unfortunately, I couldn't just buy it straight out. I have to trade for it, and I'm probably going to screw myself over here because that's probably a really, really good part. Let's get back to building, and while I'm doing that, I want to talk about something near and dear to my heart. Now, I didn't start playing No Man's Sky the very moment the game released. I actually started playing on its first update called Pathfinder. At the time, I had no idea about the drama surrounding the release. All I knew was the gaming experience that No Man's Sky gave me, and I have never stopped playing every single update that has come out. Sean Murray and his team over at Hello Games has literally just blown everyone's collective minds year after year after year, handing out an endless amount of free updates. Everyone's like, shut up, Sean, I've got all this money to give you, but you just won't freaking take it. No Man's Sky just keeps getting better and better and better year after year. It just gets closer and closer to Sean's dream. For the most part, every single time I would play No Man's Sky, I would always play it exactly the same. That happened year after year, right up until Voyagers came out. This update is absolutely game transforming. We've been asking as a community for quite some time to be able to build our own ships, but man, when I tell you Sean hit a home run, he knocked it out of the freaking solar system with this one. Sean was basically like, oh, so you guys want to build your own ships, huh? Hold my beer. That's probably about the best way I could freaking describe it, because it was literally beyond anything I dreamed of. Space Cheddar 1's basically complete. Now, if I had other weapons, I definitely would have put other weapons on there as well, but I don't, so let's just start with the painting process. After I got my color selected, I just kind of clicked on each individual piece and then got everything painted up until it was all blue and yellow. I think it looks totally awesome. Looks like it turned out to be a C-Class, even though the only C-Class module in there is the cockpit itself, but whatever, I'm just going to claim this ship as mine. I'm going to take the teleporter back to the outfitting station and get this ship upgraded all the way to an S-Class. Now, I'm fairly sure those storage augmentations can be used on ships like these. I mean, don't quote me, I could be wrong. If you do, flame me down in the comments. But yeah, I think you can still upgrade those slots and get even more storage. Getting to B-Class cost us 10k nanites. Now, getting to A-Class, that's going to cost us 25k. Going from A to S-Class, well, that's going to cost you 50k nanite. Sure is a good thing you set up that nanite farm, isn't it? Traveler Space Cheddar 1 is absolutely freaking massive. Like, when I envisioned being able to build my own ship, I didn't realize I'd be building my own ship quite like this. Just being able to run around it like this is an epic experience. I can't wait to go inside. Wow, I feel really small now. Corvettes are totally win. Let's head inside. I'm totally freaking out at this point. Oh my god, look how much room there is. I should have definitely built a base in here. Then I spent the next 10 minutes trying to paint this ambassador hab, gave up, and got in the captain's seat. Oh my god, that's so much better than just teleporting. During this entire build process, I had absolutely no idea how Space Cheddar 1 would turn out. One thing was certain though, the name. You want to talk about immersion at this point with No Man's Sky Voyagers? Like, you build your own ship, you get to run around in your own ship, you can build a base on your ship. The thing is absolutely massive when you're flying around in it. Everything about a Corvette is customizable. I mean, this really does take No Man's Sky to the absolute next level. The only thing I'm not really fond of is that cockpit I'm using. Like, that was the very first Corvette piece I found, and I wanted to really incorporate it in the build, but since it won't let me paint it blue and yellow, I'm just going to get rid of it. Along this journey, you saw me build my very first Corvette in No Man's Sky. I showed you how to make tons of units. Ironically, I'm money capped now from scanning, and we have a way to make a billion bajillion nanites. The minor settlement you build next to should have exosuit upgrade charts. That way you can upgrade your technology and cargo all the way. You should always turn your first freighter into a nanite making machine, because you do not have to spend any technology points in order to buy the refinery room. All my love to my Patreon and YouTube channel supporters, as well as you, Traveler. Thank you for watching.